part of that is delayed gratification, right? So, we're talking about it at a basic level right now as far as delayed gratification of like, hey, I'm not going to buy that new iPhone until I actually have the money to do that. So like literally, I mean, there's statistics, especially in our community, the black community, it's like people don't even have $1,000 saved up, but you walking around with $1,000 phone. Like, how ridiculous is that? And how serious are you really about financial literacy if that's something that you're doing? So, again, I'm not going to get on my soapbox too much about it, but if it's you, then you know it's you. You know what I'm talking about. Do better next time, right? And that's all we could do. That's all I do. That's all Kenneth does. We're just able to learn from our experiences because I have burnt money that I shouldn't have in certain ways and different things like that. But yeah, I mean, basically what we want to do is that we want to, I mean, again, when we talk about the podcast, right, we go into it. We always talk about it from the standpoints of VA disability benefits. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about entrepreneurship and more, right? Mm-hmm. So we're trying to give you guys more value as far as this content. And with us going to Invest Fest, one of the different things we wanted to talk about today was a financial literacy topic, right?
Yeah.
And definitely educating the people on that, man. And, I know we kind of touched on it a little bit as far as, emergency funds and different things of that nature, but definitely wanted to kind of give some people some wisdom regarding that whole financial literacy component. So before I get too much into it, because I'm going to get on my whole rant about some stuff right now, I want to know what Kenneth thinks about when you hear that buzzword, right? It's been a buzzword, financial literacy.
We talk about financial literacy. I'm always a proponent of education, right? When we talk about financial literacy, it's just that literacy. I want everyone to understand that when we're talking about literacy, make sure that you're doing your own research, making sure that you're doing your own knowledge-based research to inform you and your family and put you in the best position for yourself. Financial literacy means a lot to every community in general, but everyone has a personal financial plan. So when we're talking about being literate or illiterate with finances, that's something where you always want to educate yourself on. But with that buzzword as well, talking about financial literacy, put yourself in the best position possible. Put yourself in the best position possible. I kind of joked earlier about talking about the Balenciagas, the Gucci, and luxury products. Those luxury products are beneficial for in certain aspects. But if you're not in the financial position to be able to, desire those things or put yourself in a position to get those things, pull back, right? But also educate yourself. Educate yourself, educate your friends, educate your family. The more knowledge you possess, the more knowledge you want to give, right? But also deploy that education. So, and when we talk about financial literacy, make sure you arm yourself with all the knowledge you can so you can be able to kind of put the education in place to build your success.
Absolutely. And you touched on luxury products, right? And, September here, man, we have one. I think the iPhone 15 is either coming out or they're making a big announcement about that. And that's definitely a luxury product, right? I think the top iPhone now is going to cost like $1,500 or something along that nature, which kind of very much so hits on financial literacy, right? Because most people are financing their iPhones, right?
Yeah.
Which I totally don't understand it. I think if it's one thing I can tell you right now for financial literacy is don't finance a new iPhone. Even if your phone is broken and you need a new phone, I get that, but you don't actually need an iPhone 15 Plus, Max, Extra, all that stuff, right? You don't need that. So they tell you it's, oh yeah, you're financing it, but we're not charging you any interest. When car dealerships and, different brands say they're not charging you no interest, that's because they're making so much money on a product. The interest is already built in there, man. They don't even have to charge an extra penny there. It's either that or they know they have an introductory finance of like 12 months, no interest. And they know you're going to take more than 12 months to pay it back. So they're going to get their interest on the back end. So just really understanding that. And, I'm no Dave Ramsey when it comes to the finance stuff and trying to have you be that much of a stickler. But, you do have to kind of be conservative to some degree. And you don't have to be as conservative as me, man. I have a prepaid AT&T plan, man. I take it way back to then. It's funny because it used to seem like the prepaid plan was either for like drug dealers or for people that didn't have money, right?
Yeah.
And now I feel like a boss having a prepaid plan, because if you got a prepaid plan and you got the new iPhone like I do, I got a little 14 Pro I just bought not too long ago. I had to pay cash for that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Indeed.
I had the $1,000 or whatever to pay for the phone. If you don't have $1,000 in your bank account to buy an iPhone, you don't need an iPhone.
Oh, true indeed. But that goes into personalized planning, right? Everyone has their personal goals. Everyone has their personal financials. But put what's important in perspective, right? That again, the iPhone 15, it may be important to you, maybe something that you enjoy, but I'm sure, in certain areas are scaling back a bit. I mean, not everyone. Some people are blessed to be able to do what they like, but since we've carried out a 2020, the government isn't throwing money out here no more anymore. So understand that. So we have to make sure we put ourselves in position for success.
Absolutely. Yeah, and part of that is delayed gratification, right? So, we're talking about it at a basic level right now as far as delayed gratification of like, hey, I'm not going to buy that new iPhone until I actually have the money to do that. So like literally, I mean, there's statistics, especially in our community, the black community, it's like people don't even have $1,000 saved up, but you walking around with $1,000 phone. Like, how ridiculous is that? And how serious are you really about financial literacy if that's something that you're doing? So, again, I'm not going to get on my soapbox too much about it, but if it's you, then it's you. You know what I'm talking about. Do better next time, right? And that's all we could do. That's all I do. That's all Kenneth does. We're just able to learn from our experiences because I have burnt money that I shouldn't have in certain ways and different things like that. But